なるほど。なるほど。なるほど。So
Hello.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Stark, and today I have two special guests with me. Uh, Today we're going to have Isaac being part of the podcast,
Hello, everyone.
and we're also going to have Muku on the podcast to make it a little different. Say hi to everyone, Muku.
Hey everyone.
Okay, I don't know if this has a little delay. So let's start with the obvious. Not forgetting to change that for a change. Today is Tuesday, October 19, 2021, and this is Evan Studios Weekly Podcast number 27. And it's been a while since we did the podcast. Today we're going to start by saying hi to everyone in chat: Fossern, Damichi, Sirius Black, Aaron, and Ivan Vincent. And yeah, hey everyone. Can you guys hear Muku all right? If for the guys in the chat room, can you guys tell me if you can hear Muku all right?
Hello.
Every every single week we have to start by doing a little bit of
Sound test.
sound test.
Yeah, I can hear something like talking here. I think it's my YouTube stream.
Oh, okay. You probably want to mute this stream because it's delayed. I don't know how much it is delayed, but yeah. Okay, so they can hear you. It's like it has like a 15-second delay, but they can hear you. So yeah, this week's podcast, we don't have a lot to talk about because we pretty much covered all of the things that we wanted to talk about last week. But yeah, for the first time, we now have Muku around. So if you guys want to, throw a lot of questions Muku's way, easier to reply to your questions. Uh, so this week, I'm just going to tell you the state of where Fleeting Iris is. As you guys probably have noticed, we released a new CG on Discord. I don't know how many CGs we have left, but right now we're just trying to give the CG team enough time to wrap up the summer patch. It's a pretty massive patch, and yeah, it's taking a long time to do, but we just don't want to rush things because in terms of quality, we don't want the quality to take a hit just to push out a patch faster. Um, and yeah, this is probably one of the biggest patches that we've released so far in terms of enticings. We're also giving time for the animator to his animating stuff. There's a lot of people working on the patches as we speak. We have uh, the sprite artist is working on the patch. Tiger Lila is coloring the next scene. So pretty much for Fleeting Iris right now, we are just giving people time to do their stuff, and just pretty much get the CGs out so we can finally dish out a patch. I still can't give like an ETA on the patch, but our goal right now really is just, you know, give the CG team whatever much time they need to dish out the scenes with the best quality possible. So yeah, Muku, do you want to talk about the CGs that we have in store for them in the future, and which ones we're missing, and what's your plan for those CGs?
Oh well, right now we're finished. And I'm almost like literally just two more scenes for me to line art and finalize. But for the upcoming games, I'm going to actually. I've told Star that I'm going to vastly improve the quality. That it makes me learn stuff in the first game because to be honest, I really wanted to improve on the art style even more. It's just that I'm the moment we cannot risk the improve making the style change. But in the next upcoming game, which uh, I promised myself, I'm going to deliver really good quality arts.
So you also got a new pieces of hardware that you want to try in the next game.
Yes, I've been practicing Clip Paint Studio, and it's a very good program in my opinion. It's it's really something.
So in terms of scenes, so obviously we cannot completely change, even if it's to make an improvement, we cannot completely change the style of the scenes in the game right now, because if we make too much of an improvement, then it's going to create an even bigger disparity on the quality of the scenes, and there's already plenty of that right now, especially if you compare like the oldest scenes to the most recent ones. So if we go and improve upon that, and we try new coloring styles, and we try new lining styles and whatever, it's probably going to create an even bigger disparity. So in terms of quality, there's a lot of things that we want to introduce in our second game for Bloodlust that we cannot do right now on Fleeting Iris, just for the simple reason that it will create like a big disparity in terms of art style. So in order to make the art consistent, there's only so much that we can change before it looks completely different from what we have right now. And besides that, Muku has also got a new tool to draw ECGs. And I don't know. Last time we talked, he seemed to be really happy about it, and he's also using new software. So I am very excited to see uh, even more improvements on the art style, in the coloring style for the upcoming game. Okay. No, it's Muku. It's fine, Muku. It's people that are not used to talking on a podcast. Sometimes it's you get straight stage fright, and it's fine.
It's
Sorry, I didn't get what you said.
I was just saying sorry. It's
No,
my first.
it's more than fine. So yeah, Penny already got started on the next scene. She's doing really good progress. She almost painted the whole base already, and she made all the alterations to the line arts that was required for the scene. Um, and yeah, today I'm waiting for the animator to show the next two animations, because we had one almost done, but we forgot to put the background on it. But I saw the animation; it's really good. It's just that it was missing the background, so he's modifying that, and is already working on the next scene, which is a type of animation we haven't tried yet in the game. So I'm really looking forward to that. And regarding Journey Abroad, I'm going to, once the podcast is over, we are going to release the last preview on Discord, and we already released the preview on Patreon. We gave the people on Patreon a few days head start to check the art, and comment on the art. And today after the podcast we are going to release the last character. It's the last main character, so to speak. We still have to do a couple more side characters that are important to the story, but they are not important to the story in terms of enticings. So as soon as the podcast is done, we're going to show the last character. But if you guys want to see it ahead of time, you can check the Patreon banner of Journey Abroad. And I'm also going to explain something that we did on the Journey Abroad Patreon. So for the 5 patrons that we have already, we announced on our Patreon, and we are going to announce, publicly today, that we stopped entirely the charging on Journey Abroad. And the reason why we did that is we are not Dojin artists, so to speak. So we don't want you guys to pay us and support us for something that is not our focus. When we open our patrons, the idea is we are selling games, and right now we are not selling a game because there's no game to play, and we are still not working in the game. We're still in the drawing board when it comes to Journey Abroad and Bloodlust as well. There's a few games in the future that we have a better idea of how we want to make the gameplay, and but there's a lot of nuances on Bloodlust, and Journey Abroad, considering that it's on a new platform, being RPG Maker MV, it has a necessary step, which is we need to gather resources and we need to adapt to how the thing works and how we're going to make the game. We have to outsource a bunch of sprites for all the characters. We have to start drawing the maps from scratch, and pretty much a lot of scripts. Since we never work on MV, we have to create a lot of scripts to be able to make the game as we envisioned it. So we know what we want to do, and we know how we want to deliver, and we know how we want to make the story, and we know how we want to deliver the story. But now it comes the part where we have to grab all the ideas, and put that on the actual program. And right now there's an adaptation period where we have to gather a lot of resources, and we have to make a lot of resources from scratch to be able to work on Journey Abroad. But at least in terms of busts, we are almost done. There's like 2 more busts, and then we can start putting the stuff on game, the dialogues. We can start deciding the coordinates, all that boring stuff that we have to do at first. We can finally start doing that. And since we're not on that step right now, we decided to pause the charging on Journey Abroad on Patreon indefinitely. So I know you guys are super excited for the game, and I know you guys are dying to support us, and a few of you have started already. But as a team, it doesn't feel right to us to charge people for just the content that we have right now. And I know other patrons are completely fine by it, and they release like 2 CGs a month, and they're like, hey guys, see, we're working on the game, so pay us. But that's not us, and that was never us. We always wanted to create like an equivalent exchange on Patreon, and it doesn't feel right taking money from the people if we don't have something, to give back. And honestly, to us, just showing up the busts and showing the previews and just releasing that art, it doesn't feel right to charge for that. So we already did not charge in October. We are not going to charge in November for sure. And as long as we don't have a playable demo to release to you guys, we are going to keep not charging on the Patreon for Journey Abroad. In regards to Fleeting Iris, I know that the plan is to finish up by 2021, but first and foremost, what matters to us is the quality and making sure that when we put out the final patch of the game, that it is the game that we want to have out. We don't want to rush anything out. So if we are not able to finish in December, we're gonna finish in January. If we're not able to finish in January, we're gonna finish in February. It doesn't matter to us. All that matters to us is that you guys get the best possible game, and regardless of how long that takes, and regardless if that causes financial distress to us, um, we've always been transparent in that sense, and we are going to keep doing it. And we know which scenes we want, and we know which part of the story it's left to tell and we want to tell. And until the CG team gives us a go to the summer patch is over, which obviously our goal is to finish before the end of October. But then we have like November and December, and the Shota patch is also considerably big. It's not as big as this one, but it's also considerably big. So we are not going to rush our just for the sake of being able to finish in 2021. We will take how much time it's necessary, and how much time it's required to make sure that once we release the stuff, that it's the best possible stuff that we can release. So yeah, I don't know if the CG team feels they can finish this up before the end of October, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And honestly, we just have to wait for them to be able to do, what they do best, which is release amazing quality enticings. So that's pretty much it. I know that people are super stressed about deadlines and dates and whatever. I understand that, but I'd rather just wait and release something that we enjoy than releasing something that we don't love or we are not 100% behind of, and then if people tell us that that patch was disappointing. And so far we always got feedback that made us believe that we always delivered. At the end of the day, regardless of how long we take, we deliver. And one patch where we did not feel that, for two reasons. One was obviously the deadline, and the second was the amount of scenes that we were able to produce during that time, and it was the bestiality patch. And the bestiality patch was received with mixed feelings, especially from the people that are bestiality fans. Now, I'm not talking overall. I'm talking about people that were specifically looking for that patch. And when I released the patch, I was not 100% confident. I was not 100% behind it. I wanted to send the patch first to a few people, have them try it, see if they liked it, and maybe add a few more scenes to the patch. Add a few more days in between to be able to tell the story. And in the end, it felt rushed, but we just wanted to stay true to our word and to our promise to release the patch by the time that we said we would. And yeah, quality wise the scenes were amazing, but then story wise and the number of days that we had in game to be able to tell the story and the self-imposed deadline that we created for ourselves ended up in a way that we were not 100% confident about the patch. And then when we released it, it was received with mixed feelings. And there's no way that we want to do that with the summer patch for Fleeting Iris and the final patch. And there's no way that we want to do that with the Shota patch. So it's going to have to be one of those things where, we just have to wait and give the CG team time and just tell the story to the best of our ability instead of trying to rush something, that does not have quality out. At the end of the day, I still think that regardless of how much time it takes, it's going to be worth it. I'm really enjoying the working on the summer patch, and I'm really enjoying the story, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it as well. This might also give us some time to draw and animate for the fan-made scenes by Sirius Black and the Advent. which requires a lot of assets to be made because the way they wrote the story. Um, either it's going to require for us to create new assets, or it's going to require for us to make some alterations to some of the assets that we have, like changing the guy to look more like Sato and stuff like that. So right now it's very chaotic in our studios because we're working on Fleeting Iris, and we also have to work on a parallel project which is Fleeting Iris EF, to make the Shota game, and we have to work and we have to decide how we're going to deliver Bloodlust, and then we have to work and decide how we're going to deliver Journey Abroad, which we're pretty much building from the ground up. So there's a lot to be done, and there's a lot of things that cannot be forced and cannot be pushed, because it's a lot easier to write a story when you already have the art than it is to apply art to a story that you already have written. Because if you write the story and then you are expecting to have like a certain expression from a character, or you want the character to be able to convey a feeling that you described in terms of story, and then you don't have those assets, then you gotta go and send the stuff back, and you gotta go ask for those assets and whatnot. And when you already have the images, it's a lot easier to write for the image than it is to create an image for the text. And that's how we've worked so far. And right now, in terms of Journey Abroad, that's what we're doing. We are allowing Scarlet Ant to create the busts, and then Isaac is going to have. First of all, we need to create like the base of the game and see how much room we have to apply the busts, and then Isaac will have to resize the busts for that size. We will have to place the busts in specific coordinates. We are still deciding how we're going to deliver the dialogues, if the characters are going to disappear from the screen like they do in Fleeting Iris when they're not talking, or if they will just be like faded in more like a Fire Emblem style. And Bloodlust also is going to go through that process. We are going to completely redraw the busts for Evelyn and Jasmine. Muku, do you already have any idea how you want to redraw the busts for the characters? Are you going to make them frontal? Are you going to make like the characters animate and move and like put a hand on their waist, or raise their hands when they're angry and stuff like that? Do you already have like a vision of how you want to deliver the new bust for Evelyn and Jasmine?
Somewhat. I have like an idea I'm going to soon express after the summer patch. Uh, I want to revolutionize it in a sense, because the what in Fleeting Iris was like a learning for me, and as I tested the game slowly, I saw that this on this bus, I think I can do this on the second game and improve it. Hmm.
So a lot of the ideas that we have for the second game is completely overall some of the menus, or actually most of the menus, but we want to do stuff where, first of all, we're looking for a sprite animator that we can create like chibi battlers, so to speak. Not chibi, but like chibi sized characters, like battlers for the game. And we want to create some sort of like grope and restraint system, but we also want to make like a sort of like special attack. If you guys play the game Virgin Island, or Island of the Virgin Goddess, or whatever the game is called, you will notice that the main character has like these little mid-battle cutscenes when they're going to do like a special attack. And one of the ideas that we have is do that in Bloodlust, where when the characters do like a special attack that costs mana or something like that, you see a little animation from the character, a little power up, or a little movement or something like that, to give it a lot of flavor to the attacks, and also make it fun to level up and unlock new abilities or find new enemies and see what type of enemies, what type of attacks do they have, if they have some sort of restraining attack, if they have some sort of game over rape type system. But we don't want to punish our players for. We don't want to reward our players for losing, and we don't want our players to lose on purpose. So our idea is like, if you defeat an enemy, or if you defeat a certain enemy a certain amount of times, you unlock the animation for him in the CG gallery, regardless if you lost to it or not. And the amount of enemies that you have to defeat to finish the game or to go through a certain area will be enough for you to unlock the scenes. So if you finish the game, you unlock the scenes regardless if you win or lose. Because I know there's a lot of people that have some concerns that game over rape is kind of silly, because the game forces you to lose a battle, and then it's like rewarding the player for losing a battle. And I know that there's a lot of players that are against that. So yeah, we have to try and find like a middle ground where it's pleasing for everyone. And there's a lot of stuff that we have to decide, and maybe we have to change like later on, like we did on Fleeting Iris. Because there's stuff that you only realize that you could have done better or you could have done different after you release it and after you let people play the game. So when it comes to the story of like Journey Abroad, for instance, we are trying to let the players finish the game and see all the scenes in one playthrough, which is something that a lot of people are. It's one of the biggest complaints that people have about Fleeting Iris, is that you have to play the game multiple times, and you cannot unlock all the scenes in one playthrough. And I already explained why we didn't make the game that way, but it's still, people can still complain about it, and people can still feel like the game should have been developed in a different way. So when it comes to Journey Abroad, one of our goals is to let the players unlock all the scenes in the game in one playthrough, and we also want to do the same in Bloodlust. But we still don't know how we're going to do that, because we also want to create multiple endings. And one scene that I talked about like 2 or 3 podcasts ago, which was the Valentine's Day, where you could go out with a specific character, or you could have like a scene with a specific character, the same way you have in like Persona 4 and Persona 5, and I think Persona 3, someone told me, that people felt like, oh, but do I have to, so there's like 10 characters that you can go out on a date with. Do I have to like make saves, or do I have to like play the game 10 times to unlock those 10 scenes? And yeah, that's where you need to create like a really good balance of what you're going to do. Yeah, that's where all the challenges in terms of like creation and development come from, is sometimes trying to create the possible in the impossible. Like, how do you make it so that you only have a date with one character, but you are able to see all the dates in one playthrough? So the obvious answer is just remove that from the game and just not have that. But yeah, in terms of gameplay, in Journey Abroad, what we possibly gonna do is that you have an ending for all the characters, and the ending is like a repeatable scene. Like, you have one true ending, and that's like the ending that actually ends the game, so to speak. And then you have a bunch of other endings for the side characters, and then you have like the true ending. And if you do the ending for a side character, you get like the ending, so to speak, but then it like it goes back to the day before you had the date with that character, and you went on the final date, and you saw the final scene and whatnot. So one of our biggest concerns is really making so that the player is able to see all the scenes in one playthrough, and one ending in all the endings in one playthrough. But right now we're still on very early development stages, and there's a lot of other things that are the concern right now, and they are the headache right now. And it's the type of stuff that obviously people are not concerned about, or people don't care about. But yeah, but we want to be able to have a playable demo for both games, for Bloodlust and Journey Abroad. very early in 2022. So hopefully, um, we can finish Fleeting Iris, and we can finish the summer patch and the Shota patch very early. Hopefully, we can finish it before the end of the year. But if not, the team is going to take the usual break on Christmas, and then we're gonna come back with renewed strength, and just we should have all the assets that we require at the time, and we will start posting the stuff on Patreon and on Discord, and we are going to try and focus and have playable demos very early. It's going to be a really cool time for Isaac and I, which is most of the work that we need to do at that point in development. We don't require anyone else to do what we need to do. Like, we don't need to wait on anyone. So we can pretty much just spend the whole day just creating maps and creating dialogues and creating events, and we can just keep going without having to, like, okay, now we're waiting for this bus, or we're waiting for this scene, or we're waiting for this sprite or this song or whatever it is that we are missing to be able to create a scene or a day of dialogue or event or whatever. So yeah, we've been super tired lately. I've been exhausted. Isaac as a daughter, I think that's exhaustive enough. And yeah, we just want to get a fresh start on 2022. Hopefully we have rested enough to the point where we can start working on our new projects as soon as possible, and be able to have games to send your way as soon as possible. We are super excited to work on those games. We are super excited to finally put something out, and obviously we want to make something that puts Fleeting Iris to shame, which in a sense I know that it's really, really hard, because for instance, I just noticed, like, yesterday there was a thread created on the Netorare Reddit, and people were like trying to discuss which was, in their opinion, the best NTR game they ever played, and the game that was mentioned the most times and got most of the votes was Fleeting Iris. So it's gonna be really hard to create games that have as much impact as Fleeting Iris had, especially because of the sheer size of Fleeting Iris, and how different it is from everything else in the gaming scene. I feel like Fleeting Iris is a game on a league of its own. Not in terms of like quality. It's not like this game is like heaps and bounds better than everything else. It's just different. It's just something that is really on its own thing. Fleeting Iris was a project that took upwards of 6 years now to make. It has over 300 entire scenes at this point. It's ridiculous. Most of them, the vast majority of them, having their unique assets. It's a game that I don't even know how many hours it takes to make the game right now. So you were going to say Muku. You were going to say something, Muku.
Oh no! I accidentally pressed the push to talk the button.
Because I heard myself through your speakers, and I fucking pretty much scared myself.
Sorry.
Because people were saying in chat that your voice was too low, so I put your voice like higher, and when you press the push to talk, I heard myself like really fucking loud in your speakers. So yeah.
Sorry, but then I accidentally pressed
The push to talk.
push to talk every time. I assigned it to the caps lock, and when I out tab it, I pressed the caps lock by accident.
So yeah, I just scared myself shitless on stream. You heard it here first. I almost gave myself a fucking heart attack. What was what was I talking about? I completely lost the train of thought.
Something about
The number of
outshining.
CGs.
Oh,
I think I,
the number of CGs. Yeah. I was saying I don't know. Like, obviously this is going to change from person to person how many hours it takes for you to finish the game. If you read all the content, if you unlock all the scenes, if you press control, how good are your saves placed? Like if you know the game and you know, oh, I need to save at this specific point because it's going to split here. I don't know, man. I'm gonna guess it takes more than like it takes like more than 48 hours to see all the scenes.
If you have to read like everything, I don't know, probably. The game has a lot of text, dude.
I know that the game, last time I checked, and this was a long time ago, the game had 1.6 million words.
1.6 million.
And I think this was like before COVID, the last time I checked.
Sure.
The game had like 1.6 million words.
God damn it.
So depending on how fast you read, how fast you play, yeah, I really don't know. People just stop the game. They drop it and they come back and it's like they're playing like a completely different game. It's like let me try to make some progress on Fleeting Hours today. It's like playing a fucking MMORPG.
If you haven't played the game yet, if you want to play every single route, like for instance the Obo patch, which was like very recent comparing to the the entire development of the game, is like a route in itself. It spreads through like the whole story from the very early stages to like when Amy becomes a total slut. Has a lot of dialogue in a lot of days with a lot of different characters, a ton of CGs, an ending. I mean, that was just like one patch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I honestly, now when we finish this, we have to make the walkthrough. I'm not looking forward to that, but
No.
yeah, but we have to do it, and we want to make it as professional as possible. Something that looks like the guys from what are those guys called? The guys that make the official Ultimania.
I don't know.
The guys that make the Final Fantasy walkthroughs in
Yes,
books. It's
I think it's
Ultimania.
Ultimania.
Ultimania. Yeah, we want to make something Ultimania worthy. So Augie, I hope I got your name right, asked on YouTube, will there be more kissing and foreplay CGs? Yes, there will be plenty on the
Yes.
on the summer patch. Plenty of them on the summer patch. That's something that we started introducing a few patches ago, and by a few patches ago, if we say for instance like 3 patches ago, that's already 6 months. That's something that we started introducing because people said there's not enough kissing and foreplay scenes.
Ayama just likes to like cut through the action.
Straight to the action. No, because the reason why we cut that, it's because all that stuff needs to be drawn, and if we are drawing some kissing scene, we are not drawing some penetration scene.
Yes.
And for us, it's like, but we've been able to do a nice compromise between both, and there's plenty of kissing and plenty of foreplay on the summer patch, and there will be some on the Shota patch as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, which I think I'm not, I think the last Office patch was the first patch that we were like, we need to introduce more kissing scenes. It had like a scene with Melvin that had kissing, and then the next patch that came, it was the one where Ayame was playing like the Gyaru Ayame, and that one had a lot of kissing. And then there was like the Hot Springs patch, the one with the Hot Springs and a bunch of free roam things. It was like the Hot Springs and the massage parlor, and that one also had like some sort of foreplay. So yeah, I can guarantee you, if kissing and foreplay is your thing, there will be plenty of that on the summer patch. There will be some on the Shota patch, but there will be plenty of that on the summer patch. You're going to enjoy it. It's very well balanced. And we see a lot of new faces on the podcast. That's Ron Emery is here again. Kagan Williamson, Athena Sykes, and yeah, Zelmade is here saying it's fun to make walkthroughs. It takes absolutely no time. Yeah, he said that with zero sarcasm, like zero sarcasm. I cannot tell the sarcasm through YouTube. So for you guys that don't know, probably everyone knows, but Zelmate was the one that made the flow chart for Fleeting Iris, and he is not complete. It's not done yet, but he has done a remarkable job making it and remaking it the million times that we changed the game.
Get ready to do it again when we release this patch.
Really? Do we change something in the?
Well, no, we didn't change anything, but he has
Okay.
a lot of stuff like to head in like 3 different city
Oh, yeah.
routes
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
something
Oh,
with a
yeah.
lot of events and a bunch of like odd triggers. We have to do this, be on that day, talk with like this character, and in the next anti-scene on the same route, it's like everything is completely different. It will be fun.
There's pretty much like 3 unique routes on the summer patch. All of them play out on a very different way, and they cover a different type of fetish. One is going to cover more NTR, one is going to cover more BBC, and the other is going to cover more voyeurism and just I am a being a slut.
That's all of them.
Muku, you can say that out loud if you want to.
In my opinion, though, Fleeting Iris' replay value is really. I think that's the charm of the game. That's why it makes people go back and like, oh, I need to try this route. I need to try this route. Like a different kind of approach of the game. That's what I think makes Fleeting Iris really, really good.
That's one I wanted to make, but people don't want to go back. I want to replay the game. People are more like, no, I want to see everything in one go.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, but
I don't
in
enjoy
a
the game that way, but I understand.
in a game like Fleeting Iris, that's kind
The
of hard
game
to
is
do.
big.
Uh,
Right.
Because in our game every route is like a completely different story, almost like a completely different game. It's not like in most of the games with splitting narrative, your choices are like you can see like this day but from a different perspective. You can see like the same event but with like this small change. And in the last day this character dies, because if he dies before we would have to rewrite the entire story. In our game, if you make like one different choice in the early game, like for instance, I don't know, telling the truth to Clark about Melvin, you play a completely different game from that point on. If you accept take care of Arthur, you play a completely different game with a completely different story. Fleeting Iris, you can almost say that it's a lot of different games in just one game, with very complete stories focused on different fetishes with different characters. I mean, the only thing that's similar, it's like the maps.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was trying to do when I started making the game, but the problem that it causes the way that we made the game is that, and I put this on Twitter as a joke, but this is actually true because I actually discussed this with a lot of people, and people are like, "Oh, I was playing like the Garcia's route, and I don't know why, but now, like I someone was mentioning that he kind of was reading the story and he was like, oh, I thought there was something between Robert and Adriana, and then she was actually in on the whole thing with Dan and they screwed Robert and whatnot." And it was like I wanted a chance to have Robert actually, end up with Adriana and whatnot. And I heard and I saw people going like, I was playing the Melvin route, and I don't know why I ended up playing the Garcia's route and whatnot. So one of the issues that a lot of people don't understand about the game is that, let me give you a game, and this is going to be like, I think I already mentioned this once, but in games like Cyberpunk, the game tries to give you a false sense of choice, where it throws a lot of choices your way, but at the end of the day, nothing changes. The only thing that changes is the dialogue of the choice that you just made.
Actually, Cyberpunk has some like pretty decent variability in that sense compared with other games of the same style. You can, for instance, kill some main characters like at the middle of the story, and the game in those like plots changes a lot from that way on.
I don't remember a single time that happens in Cyberpunk.
In Cyberpunk, you have like 3 main characters. You can play in such a way that none of them are alive at the end. And like one dies like
Homie,
the first third of the game.
Homie, you're talking about Detroit Becomes Human.
Yes. Oh, sorry. My bad. My bad.
You're wrong.
I didn't play Cyberpunk.
You're wrong.
Sorry.
You're wrong, and I realized you were wrong. No, Detroit Becomes Human
Sorry.
is very obvious in the sense that once you make a choice, the choice has like...
Yes, I've played some games of the same style, even some of games made from the same company. And in that genre, I think that Detroit Become Human is probably the best game like of that kind.
But in Detroit Becomes Human, you actually have choices, and it's
Yes.
very obvious that those choices are going to have
Yes.
like immediate consequences and consequences in the
Absolutely.
future. In Cyberpunk, the game tries to give you an idea that you are making a choice there is going to be important,
Oh,
but it's not.
See.
It's completely
I
irrelevant.
see. That's kind of like Life is Strange.
I'm not
see.
I'm not kidding. I think that all the choices that matter for the endings, I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong, because I played Cyberpunk extensively, like 500 hours. I wrote
Really?
a fuck ton. I wrote a fuck ton of guides for
Okay.
Cyberpunk. They're on GameFAQs, and I pretty much knew that game back and forth in glitches and speedrunning, and I think that the last 1 hour of the game is where you make all the choices that actually matter. I'm not fucking kidding. You have to play, I don't know how long you have to play like for a regular playthrough. I'm gonna say like 24 hours. I'm gonna say like a full day. If you nerd it like all story mode, you can finish it in 1 day, but like all the consequences are like 2 or 3 dialogues that you have with very specific characters in that point in the game. So what the game does is give you a false sense of choice, where you actually think that you actually think that your choices are going to have consequences in the future, but it doesn't. And the problem with Fleeting Hours is that you get choices like, even I'm going to speak with this character instead of going to this character, or I'm going to go here on this specific day instead of going to the other place. And what happens is people are making choices without even realizing they're making choices. So there's games where the game wants you to feel like you're making choices, but you're not.
I
And in
see what you
Fleeting
mean.
Hours,
I
you
see
don't
what you
realize
mean.
you're making choices, and that's the problem. You don't realize you're making choices, and you are, and you completely change the outcome of the game, and you were like, "What the fuck just happened?" Wait,
but completely like
I
one choice.
was becoming friendly with this character, and now this character stabbed me in the back. What the fuck just happened? Well, you happened. Your choice changed the outcome of the game. And the problem with people that want to do like replay value is that, and in this sense they are right, but I wanted the game to be like, you don't realize the consequences of your choices until you make them. And it's the type of
actual makes it feel like more realistic and
more
whatnot.
realistic.
Yes.
Exactly. Obviously there was always a plan to make a walkthrough to be able to tell players, see, this is where you make the change. And obviously Zellmate up until this point has made an amazing job at doing
Yes, really good.
that and explaining people this is where you make the choice. But people don't realize that. They don't check the walkthrough, and when they play on their own, they make choices without realizing, and then they complain about the choices that they made. And the people that don't want to replay the game, or even when they replay the game, they are like, where is the choice? Where did it all go wrong? Like, I was doing this and now I'm fucking this character that I fucking hate. What happened?
Yeah, I was working in a convenience store and I'm setting the world on fire.
Yeah. So that's the thing about Fleeting Hours. It feels very realistic in the sense that if you're a dick, you know, you only realize it when it fucking comes back and bites you in the ass. And Fleeting Hours, it's kind of like that. Like, you make a choice and you're like, nah, what happened? I just told this character, like, maybe I will give you a blowjob. And then you just made a choice and you don't even give a shit because it's like such a small piece of dialogue. And then you completely change the outcome of the route that you're playing in and whatnot. So obviously with the walkthrough, you're able to tell. There's people don't even realize how many choices. Even if you have if you have had anal sex with a character, if you have had sex with a specific character, in the summer patch there's a character that you can only have sex with them if you have seen the Sato live stream scene, because
Yes.
the character recognizes you from that. So obviously with a walkthrough it's going to be a lot more enjoyable to play Fleeting Iris, but I think there's a very specific and unique charm on Fleeting Iris on making a blind playthrough and just going based on your choices instead of trying to go min-maxing and going like, oh my god, I need to make the right choice here. No, just make the choice that you feel is right. Build the character how you feel like
Yeah,
the character
sure,
should be
absolutely.
built, and then see the outcome that you get from the choices that you made. And that's pretty much it. And there's a lot to read on YouTube, but before I read all those comments and I try to do my best to go to the best of my ability to reply to them, I have to tell you guys that I need to as soon as I finish this stream, like I said, I will release a new character, but I also need to go back and speak to the animator, because I'm pretty sure that the animator has already finished the animations, like really just right now. It just sent me the animations on Discord, and I'm going to check. I haven't checked them yet, but I'm pretty sure they're good. And yeah, I want to go. I want to go check those and reply to him as soon as the podcast is done. But yeah, we have the animations here.
Well, there's a lot of kissing there. So
yeah, I was. This was one of the things that I was talking about. And yeah. So outside says Cyberpunk actually doesn't change anything. The game was that in mind. 90% of the story changed nothing. All your starting background changes is the intro. I'm fully aware of that, but it kind of pisses me off that one of the backgrounds is tied to a unique weapon while the others are not. So in terms of like gameplay, I feel like the one that fits the best is the wildling, the guy that starts in the middle of nowhere. Because there's the street punk, the like there's the suit, and there's the other guy, and the nomad. Yeah, the nomad is probably the one that makes the most sense in terms of like story, but the suit is the one that you get the best rewards for. The game is actually trash in terms of story. I'm sorry, it is. I wanted to love Cyberpunk, I wasn't able to. I just hope eventually we'll get that Melvin story, but it is but a hope. We also hope. We'll see. We'll do our best. Sorry if this has been asked, but is one of the route mentioned between Ayame, the big boob blonde chick, and the guy who bangs them by the window? Yes, it's coming this patch. And it's going to be left in a cliffhanger. So
big boobed blonde chick.
I know exactly what we're talking about. Big boobs are justice. Yes, it will come out with this patch and it will be left in a cliffhanger so that we leave it open for more scenes in the future. I think Fleeting Iris misses a choices tree with the start from your option, like when you unlock an ending, let's say Melvin, they'll let you replay the game from that branch. That will be a fucking nightmare, because we will have to go back and like delete all the stats that you weren't in that period of time. And
yeah, also if our game had like, let's say 5 endings or something like that, or 5 routes, it will be doable. But in a game with the variability and routes and choices and branches that Fleeting Iris has, no, that's not something that we can do. Sorry.
I don't. Maybe if we planned beforehand, but right now I just I don't see it. I guess most of the people complain about having to start the game from scratch. Make saves. The ability to replay the game from that branch is make a save before that branch. The game alerts you for when the big things are about to come. The game tells you save the game here.
Yeah, that doesn't help people that like use control to skip the dialogue and just want to see all the anti-scenes. So there's that.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So yeah, they were just talking about the scenes. Sirius and RM are talking about the scenes. So yeah, if you guys have no more questions, this is it for this podcast. I'm going to go on Discord and release the new bus for the new character. And then I'm going to check the new animations, because they are probably pretty fucking sweet, and I can start working on them. It's going to be really cool and tiresome, because I have to pedal. I have to pedal.
Speed animations.
Oh yeah, animations are with the limitations of RPG Maker. Animations are kind of nightmarish to actually put in the game. But first of all, I need to see how much space do they take in the disc, and right now our animator is like, we told him like, okay, keep all the animations, keep them below 16 frames, and I've seen the scene that we already released in the of the preview on Discord, the scene where I am is having sex in the sea on in the beach, and I've already seen the animation for that one. And he has made like a slow paced animation and a fast paced animation. I really enjoyed the both. And now there's a scene with the BBCs that we are already also released the preview on Discord, which is the Ayame kissing the BBC guys and they're groping her and whatnot behind the rock. And we also have the animations for those scenes, so we are very excited to check how good these look because I haven't yet and I'm really dying to do it. So yeah, I'm going to let Isaac say his final thoughts and final words if he wants to say anything and say goodbye to you guys.
Goodbye to you guys.
Okay, Muku. Do you wanna add anything? And it's your first time in the podcast. Can you tell us what you think about your experience and if you want to add anything else?
Well, I've had a very positive. Uh, I can hear myself. I've had a very positive experience about this project, and it has been a very good learning experience for me. And of course, also, uh, Penny is also having a very good experience with it, and uh, we're. I always admit that there is still a lot of on my end that I needs to improve, and I I will improve on those for everyone because when I replay Fighting Irish, I get like this kind of crave, like I have to do this better next time. Like I just want to to improve this thing, but I cannot. Those kind of feelings. But uh, yeah, this. I'm sorry if I'm very stuttery because this is really my first time, but um, everything about this project is like brings some tears to my eyes because it's kind of like one of my first big projects, and I'm happy that people are liking the artwork of it. It makes me want to strive harder for everyone because it's art is I for me art is someone I like to see people having fun with it and enjoying it. Oh, and that's Lila on the chat, by the way, Tiger.
I
Penny.
I thought Penny was sleeping.
She woke up from your voice.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I can't help it.
I I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. She's actually was like, what was that Stark?
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
was.
yes, it was.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I figured she will be sleeping. Cause I was paying attention to her schedule on our team Discord, and I was like, okay, at this point probably Lila went to sleep, and there you go. I woke her up. I'm sorry. But yeah,
She's okay with it.
Lila's in the chat. Yeah, I feel like all of us feel like, man, okay, there's always a time constraint. That's always a problem. And I feel like all of us want to go back and change things and do things better. And I feel like I feel that about so many things in Fleeting Iris where I'm like, listen, I just have to release it as it is with all the imperfections that it has and just try to be the better person that I wanted to be for Fleeting Iris, try to be that person for the next game and just leave room for improvement on another game instead of trying to go back and at some point when you're doing art you have to put the brush down, sign it, and that's it. You just have to release it and live with your decision.
Yeah, but yeah, like I'm lost for words for the moment. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do those things at the moment, in my opinion, because it's. Hmm, sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. Uh, it's kind of hard to do those things because you're pressed with time and everything, and that is one thing
Ah,
we
uso
can't
problemas.
avoid in this project because we want to deliver to people and we can't make them wait so long. That's also one of my main stress when I work on series because I want to make it really look good, but I don't want people to wait. But there's also a reward for on both sides if there's a certain waiting time that helps us improve the art.
Yeah, I definitely feel where you're coming from. I mean, we have to deliver. At the end of the day, we need to show something to the people, and I personally feel like there's so many deceiving and there's just so many deceiving patrons and so many you know there's so many business practices being done on Patreon that I just cannot condone. That I just don't want to leave room for people to think that we are going down the same path or we're trying to do the same thing. So when we spend too much time not releasing something, it makes me feel worried that people think that we are doing the same thing and we are not trying to work, or we're trying to like milk people out of their money, and we just try to show people how active we are. And I hope that the 6+ years that we have been doing this for and delivering in a consistent basis and always keeping transparent to our people and whatnot, you know, I hope that works, that puts some credit in our favor, so to speak. uh, but at the end of the day, we need to release something and we need to give people something for the support that they're giving us, else they're going to start losing their patience, or people that don't know us are probably going to feel like, man, I just started supporting these guys and this is turning into like a milk job. And it's really sad because I know why people feel about that. We have a saying in Portugal that is gato escaldado tem medo d'água, which is pretty much translated in a cat that got burned is afraid of the water. And it works like this: people that keep getting deceived and people that keep getting lied to by patrons that they support, when they put their money on a new patron, they are afraid to put the money there, and at the first sign of like the red flag, they just leave because, you know, this guy is probably also milking me. And I know that we have a loyal fan base that has been with us for a long time, and I think that all the work that we have put in the game and all the things that we have worked through, all the situations that we have been through, and we kept working, we kept delivering, we kept working on the game. I hope that that says a lot about the strength of our team and the quality of our team and the things to come in the future. Because, like Sirius Black just said on the YouTube chat, I think we all saw how much you both improved in time, night and day from the start of Fleeting Garris. And obviously, there's a huge discrepancy from the quality of the art when Fleeting Garris started and the quality of the art now. So,
Yeah.
given time, obviously with our second game, people are only expecting even more improvements.
Yeah, and that's a promise I'm gonna keep. I'm really going to keep that promise 100%.
You heard it here first. Anything else you want to say, or you just want to say goodbye to people?
Well, that's pretty much it. I'm still a bit shy, but eventually, I think about a few more podcasts, I might be more confident.
Hopefully next week we can have you with you, and Penny as well if she's not sleeping. I mean Tiger Lila.
I'm sure she will be. Yeah, I think she'll be happy to be in the podcast.
We'd love to have her. Okay, maybe 4 people podcast next week. We'll see. If also to the guys in chat, if you guys got questions or any doubts or anything, just like, it really helps when you guys deliver questions on the Discord and whatnot. We always love replying to those and, you know, interacting with the community. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. We are going to try and not spend a lot of time without doing another podcast, like we did the past 2 weeks, which has been extremely busy. And you know, it is what it is. There's priorities, and as much as we love doing the podcast, sometimes we just have to put the time. We only have so many hours in the day, and there's so much to do right now with three projects in our hands. Technically 4, because Fleeting RZF is kind of a project of its own. So I hope you guys understand what we are going through right now, and how much work we have in our laps. So yeah, but as usual, even how tired we all are, It's always a pleasure to keep working in these games. It's always a pleasure to do the podcasts, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I see you guys next week. Have a good one. Take care. Stay healthy. Peace.
Peace.
Take care, everyone. Oh wait, I missed something. Please check. Alright, that's fine. I'll go and have my dinner now. I mean my late breakfast, but I'll do some work after.